Hi, welcome back for part two. This is my fairy house process tutorial, and this is the fairy house that we worked on in part one. It's all baked, and I've already made sure I could get this tube out, but what I did is I very carefully took the narrow flat end of this tool, and I went down between this tube. Well, first I squeezed it a little bit to find a spot where it moved away from the clay, and then I went down, I pushed the tube down and slid the tool down between the clay and the tube, and then very carefully, because remember we've got that little teeny candle in that window, I took the tool and I went all the way around, and then I went to the bottom and I did the same thing, and then I just turned it a little bit very gently and pulled the tube out. So now I have my fairy house, and there's the window with the little roof, and there's the water barrel, and there's the door. I did add a doorknob, a leaf-shaped doorknob, because I had forgotten the doorknob, and I wanted that on before I baked. I added a couple of flowers, a little spiral and a flower here. But that's where we were when we left off. So let's see. Now what I'd like to do is add maybe the little, I don't know, should we add a little worm to the little snail to the rain barrel? Let me see if I can find clay that's, hold on, I'll be right back. My camera stopped. Well, I made a snake, a smaller snake out of that, because I'm not sure where my camera stopped. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to attach it to the top of the water barrel. Now I'm going to introduce you to another product, and that is liquid polyclay. This is Kato brand. It comes in many brands. There's a Sculpting brand that's liquid clay. And sometimes this comes in very handy for helping raw clay attach to baked clay. So all I'm going to do is take my toothpick and take some of that liquid clay, and I'm going to put it on this baked clay. Doesn't matter if it runs, because we're going to bake again, and it all kind of bakes in together. Okay, so I've got a little bit of that on there. Now I'm just going to press this raw clay down on top of this baked clay, just around the upper edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, because we are going to put the snail on top of it. Getting this to stick sometimes can be a little tricky. I'll start with the connected end behind against the wall. So then I'm just going to take my tool and kind of give it some extra presses with the tool. And then I'm going to get this edge on. And I think I'm going to just overlap them, just like that, and kind of press them together. Press it all down just for good measure. Okay, and so now we've got a rim around the top of the barrel. And now I'm going to make a little tiny, I say tiny, it actually looks pretty large in comparison to this fairy house, but all a snail is kind of, well, it's a slug. It's a, let me get my, so let me put that aside before I knock it all over myself. So I'm just going to make kind of a worm shape. And then kind of a flatter tail. And I may just take my needle, or my, not needle, toothpick, and I'm just poking a couple of little indents into the head, and I'm going to round out the nose area a little bit. I'm going to take a little tiny piece of brown clay on the end of my toothpick, not that much, and I'm going to put maybe some here, and then just a little tiny bit over there. So he might look like he has a couple of little bug eyes. And then I'm going to take his little body, get rid of my toothpick, and I'm going to kind of just attach him onto the rain barrel. Just want to push him down just a little. I don't want him to stand up quite that high. And on his tail, I'm just going to do a couple of like drag marks because he is a snail, and snails kind of ooze along. Not quite that much. Okay. And let's see. I want to do some more vines kind of around the tree stump. I just have to find the right clay to do it with, and I think I'm going to use this kind that's got some of the other colors combined in it, and I'm just going to kind of mash it up, and I'm going to roll it up. Kind of lose most of our modeling that way, but it's okay. I'm just going to roll it out into another log, another thin log. And you can do this, I don't know that I will do this, but acrylic paint will work on polymer clay. So once you're finished with this, if you wanted something to change the color of a flower or put highlights on it or something, you can use acrylic paint and do that. Okay, let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to take my liquid clay again. I'm just looking for a brush. My brushes are all pretty beat up, but that's because I use them a lot for clays and powders and things. Now remember, we have this little guy over here who is still raw. I'm just putting a little bit of liquid clay around him to help him hold on once he's baked. And now I'm going to go around the top of this little fairy house with some liquid clay. I think my liquid clay is a little bit separated. Like if you buy it in a bottle, it usually comes in a squeeze bottle, and it will squeeze out and it's a little on the thick side. This will work. This is just some of the components that make up the blocks of clay. So, okay, so I've got this all along the top. And then I just have to put this rope of clay I'm going to put around this top, just to give some of our branches a place to hold on to. And I'm just turning it and kind of pinching it a little. This is kind of another thing, that's just do it as you go. And I'll cut it off when I reach the end. And I'm just going to press it in. And before I baked it, I don't know if you can see it, but I did take my toothpick and draw some lines, just scratching the surface, just to give it, you know, an unsmooth, bark-like texture, so it didn't look just smooth. Okay. And that's one thing the liquid clay will do, is it really softens your clay. So if it was very warm and your clay was really sticky, don't use the liquid clay because it will melt and you'll have all liquid clay. I'm using this because my clay is stiff because it is cold. Alright, so I've got the top edge on my piece. I want to see, I don't know if, yeah, that roll's too big. I was just trying to think. I could get a ball of aluminum foil and put here, but I need something to actually give the piece structure while I lay the roofing supports over it. So I think I'm going to use this piece of wax paper. The wax paper will melt a little bit in the heat, but people have been baking using wax paper for years, so I think that we're pretty safe using it in this instance. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take pieces of the brown clay and lay across it and kind of hook it into the other pieces and maybe give it little curls, or maybe even have it twist and stick out a little. And this will give us the place that we're going to put our chimney and some flowers and maybe some leaves. So now I just need to make some more ropes for the roof. And you don't have to do this. I mean, you could leave it open. You could, cut out leaves and cover it with leaves, or, something that looks like grass. And you could, make a grass dome on it. You could even make a dome and make it like a covered box. Put a base on it, and you could hold something little in it, which would be really cute. Cut this a little bit. Once again, it doesn't take a whole lot to make these miniature things. So in these cases, a 2-ounce block of clay would go a long way. And these branches don't have to all be the same size, because in nature branches are all different sizes on the tree. And I know that there wouldn't be branches on a tree trunk, but that's not to say that knots and roots and sucker branches don't grow up out of trees. So then all I do is I'm overlapping them. And I haven't hooked out, I didn't hook that one down. I'm just going back and grabbing another piece to put on the other way. And get another one. And I'll put this one. I may actually take this one and, using my handy dandy toothpick, maybe start a spiral. I've got my hand in the way, I know. All I'm doing is I turned the point into a circle like any spiral, and now I'm pushing part of it in. So I'm just doing that. So I have a pretty good spiral going. And then I'm going to pick this up and I'm going to maybe hook this spiral over in front of the little house over the door. Because all I'm doing is hooking it into the raw clay, unbaked. And I'm going to put the other part down in the back. Okay. And then, let's see, I think I want to do something like a cluster of flowers on the top. I want a little piece of green clay to start with. And I'll just use handle of my tool to flatten my clay out. I'm going to take this little star and push it in. Then I'll take my blade and lift it off my surface. And I think I want to put it there. And maybe I'll do another one. I don't want to do them too thin. Okay. Take my knife and lift it. This one's a little thinner than the other one. And I'll put it here. And let's see, I think I need another one. I think for this one, since I'm almost out of the green, I'm going to just take a little red. Don't need much. I'll do it better than that because I don't want them to be... Oh, I got red and green. Oh well. Might look like a little flower bud, who knows. You roll it out. Take it off my tool and lay it down. Get my little star punch. Punch it. And I will lay this one here. So there's the top of the roof. And then I need a spot for the chimney to sit. And see, I've got the rain barrel and everything over there. I have a window here with a candle, so I think I'm going to put the chimney somewhere in there. So I just need a little bit more of these brown branches. And I think I'm going to roll the red and the green that I had left over out into a log and press it together with this brown. Maybe fold the brown in half, bringing it all up together. And I'll just roll it out. Okay. And I'm just going to twist it a little. Okay, it's really not doing much. Okay, so then I'm going to make this kind of an S shape, maybe like a squiggle, you know, where it can kind of go like this. And I want to just take it up where it can hook near where I put those little stars, and take my toothpick and kind of push it all together. This is tricky because it's like doing it in air. And I want to do my little snake thing. And I think I'll pull this back up this way. And then I have something that looks like that. And I'm going to take this little chimney and I'm going to take a little bit more of my liquid clay and I'm going to set it, I'm going to actually paint it right on my little twist. And I'm going to set my chimney right up near it. So then I have my chimney on that little twist. And I'm going to take this little piece that's hanging down from my twist and I'm just going to wrap it back up into there. Okay, and then I'm going to take some more of this red orange clay and roll that up. Actually, I'm going to use this one because I like this color for flowers. And I think I've got a little heart cutter. And I'm just going to cut a little heart. I think I'll put that right there. And then this little end here can come back around here. And then this little one can just curl up and sit right there. That looks like a plan. Okay. I think it needs a few more flowers. So I'm going to use my bigger flower cutter, I think. And I'm just going to cut a few flowers. Okay. And I've got a little bit of my snail color left, so that might make a contrasting center. Yep, not too bad. Just have to keep it small. Has to stick to my fingers because of the liquid clay. Okay, last one to put a center in. Okay, and then we just have to put these on. I'm going to put some near the stars. Now if you My roof is kind of slanting. I mean, that's not a terrible thing. Who's to say what way the roof should be, especially a fantasy one. But you still have to be careful because I haven't hooked everything down. And I know you can't see everything. I apologize. Right now I just put that little flower on the end of that little strut to kind of give it closure. And now I'm gonna put this up, kind of bring it down, and then I'm gonna take this little flower and put it on here. I just have to get the center to go. And let's see, I could probably use another heart because I only have one on there. Just have to find my heart cutter. There we go. Pull it out where you can see it. There's the clay. I just pressed it down. And there's the little heart. And I go just like that. And the little heart's right there. I'm going to put that. Where am I going to put that? Maybe I'll put this little heart right here. And then this flower can sit right there. And I'll just put a hole in it to hold it. Let's see. Oh, I did a few, like, let's see, let me use this. And I'll roll it up and make a thing out of it, a spiral. And then I'll just twist it a little bit. And then I'll cut it. And then maybe I'll just like stick it here and have it. I won't stick it there because it's not sticking. Liquid polymer clay. Now I will just add it and twist it. And let's see. I'll do another one, something like it. Only this time what I'm going to do is take my toothpick and do another coil. So again, just kind of hang on to it and then gently wrap it. Only this time you don't want it to coil too tight. We don't want to make a chimney. I'm just making a coil like that. I'm going to take some liquid clay. And I might add it. I might add this one up here on the roof. Because first I got to hook that down. And then I'll put this coming off of here. Make it look like it's kind of winding around. Okay, camera quit again, but this time I heard it. So anyway, that's pretty much all you have to do, or how I do it. You don't have to do it this way, obviously. You can do it any way you like. I'm going to do a little bit more of this green strand like I did at the on the bottom of the fairy house if I can keep my green clay together. And I would probably bake it again at this point. And then I will bake it one more time after I put the, all I'm doing right now is not looking what I'm doing. Okay, so I will be back. I'm going to bake this and probably move on to a part 3. Thanks for watching.